Alright, so we're gonna start that up because I really like the startup sequence because it's really cool. That part's lame. Shh, it's starting. Alright, so in this video I'm playing as the GLA. So the whole faction is about underhanded tactics and kind of sneaking around. Now, this footage is sped up because I messed up and there was no audio, no game audio. And I decided it would kind of be a waste of time if I just left it like that. So I sped the clip up. So here it is at 2.7 times speed. And right now I'm collecting resources, placing a technology building, and I'm establishing a foothold. And in about 30 seconds, I'm going to realize that this is actually a bad location to fortify because my enemies are south of me, not to the left. Now, this is kind of a strange faction in that they don't have a mini-map until you build a unit. And in most games, you kind of just start out with the mini-map. It's kind of like a basic thing. But this game is special. It's very special to me. And so here I'm building a tunnel system, which I should have done much sooner. I'm using Jarman Kell here. Um, as you'll watch later, I misused him a lot. He's there's a lot better uses for commando units than base defense. Now, another thing that's going on here, I also forgot to put camo netting on my defensive buildings for this match. So they're kind of just out there. And I then go over there to expand. Good expansion. That was a good way of handling their flak truck. And now I'm trying to fortify this position. As you'll see, it doesn't really work out. But it's an expansion, so I get more money. That doesn't really work out either. I end up actually losing money trying to hold the position. Um, he ends up doing nothing and dying. And then Jarman Kell just does whatever Jarman Kell would have done anyways. And, Of course, the rockets are there. Rockets are always nice to have. And there's me reclaiming the vehicles because so Jarmankel's ability is so he can shoot the crew out of a vehicle. So that makes the vehicle empty, and that lets you that lets you claim the vehicle as your own. And those guys are rocket buggies, which I definitely should have been building, but I wasn't. And then I kind of just leave that one there, and eventually my opponent reclaims it. And I made a lot of mistakes, but I will say I did do a decent job with technicals, because technicals their micro is kind of important. But the problem is if you mess up the micro, they just blow up like that. Because I actually didn't do all that great. Um, and you can see here I'm trying to run over their units. Did not work. Did not run them over. Then I'm building bikes. Um, Eventually, you're going to see those bikes did nothing. But that's kind of just what the bikes do. They roll around and then they do nothing. And later on, I could have sworn that I made more bombers, but I didn't. And I end up only having 3 explosive bikes, and then 2 of the bikes just do nothing. And then I take my um, then I take my forces. I try building one of them fellers. He also ends up doing nothing because I forgot that you can cloak the defensive buildings as the GLA. And that really messed me up. Then I disguise my guy, and then I realize the game's probably already over, but not quite yet. And then I decide to restart. Now, this round, arguably, I did worse. So I choose technicals. Technicals aren't all that great. I mean, they're an important part of the faction because without them, you wouldn't have as fast of a response. Although, ideally, I would be using scorpions and tunnels for response. The one thing I did do well was spreading my base out better. Because that's kind of what you're supposed to do as GLA. And what I'm doing here is I'm moving my worker to hopefully establish an expansion before I realize I don't have any money because I spent all of it on infantry units that are going to die very soon. So I lose 3 dudes there, and then I blow that guy up. That guy, so if he shoots at my guys while they're in the building, then they all die, even though they're in the building. And it was about halfway into this round that I realized I can build defenses, and then I can also build cloaked defenses. I did mess up by making decoys, which are almost completely useless. But again, scorpions are good. I should have built more of them. I built this, which technically I got value out of it, but it's also kind of useless. And so at this point, I'm realizing that I probably should have built a palace by now, but I didn't. And this is kind of a problem because I don't have the technology I need. Fortunately, I do have the money until I spend it all on camouflaging my defensive units. Here you can see they blow up all of my stuff and then I restart again. And this time I opt to not get a 1-star commander upgrade. I make note of my worker walking through the main building before building my um, supply stash, and then I make a joke about the upgrade for the rebels. You can go back and look. And then I build a decoy. Now, if you'll watch the whole video, it does absolutely nothing. And then I build another one. That one is a detriment to myself and still does nothing. And then I build another rotated supply stash because I love having good economy. Unfortunately, they're going to kill all of my workers and it's not going to do anything. And then you see that tunnel entrance right there? That's also going to do nothing. All of the rocket soldiers that come out of it aren't going to be able to shoot anything. Ugh. And I finally have a radar van. It takes me way too long to realize I didn't camouflage what I should have camouflaged. And then I build some technicals. Now these I manage much better than how I managed them in the last round. Unfortunately, they're still managed poorly. At this point, I realize I can put vehicles into tunnels with units inside of them. Unfortunately, this doesn't really do anything. It's kind of just whatever. Now, there was some good micro. I finally built a palace and then do nothing with it for the majority of the game. And then I go on just a small raid, don't get much done, end up spending more than I made. However, very soon I'm going to go on another raid and it's going to be very successful. After, of course, building a battle bus and doing absolutely nothing with it, and then letting all of my units die. All right, watch this. Play of the year. Okay, he's gonna drive up, they're gonna blow it up, it's gonna sit there, and then I'm going to go the whole rest of the round without noticing it, and it's just gonna disappear, and I'm not gonna realize what happened to it. And so at that point, I realize it's gone. So I just upgrade the battle bus with its scraps. I don't even know what happened to it. Then that one blows up, and they end up just barely saving the supply depot. And then I realize scorpions just might be the play. And then I blow that up, and it kills one of my guys because it was in the way. I then go to build this before my worker is immediately killed and it's destroyed. So I then decide I'm going to go this way. I lose a scorpion tank before I'm even out of my base. And then I decide I'm going to go and attack. Because if I don't, that super weapon is going to kill me. So I blow that up before realizing that they're just gonna rebuild it, and then they're gonna start shooting my dudes again. And I almost reached a rank that would actually help me, but then I didn't. And then I spend a whole 10 seconds just trying to run over trees, and then immediately lose the unit. I then send in more technicals, which get blown up, and then I get a level up. I then use these units for absolutely nothing. And so I send him, he goes, he gets past them, right? I put him down right here, and then I realize that those are detector units, and he dies. And then I am completely out of economy. So my only hope is to deploy some rebels, hope that they're able to do something, and then they immediately get killed by flak trucks. And that's the game.